Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be talking on the circular seating arrangement, and this is a very special type of seating arrangement in which some people are seated around a circle and some of them are facing inside and some of them are facing outside. This is the part 4 of the series that we are doing in circular seating arrangement, and it is a level 1 question which will be helpful for IBPS and SBI clerk prelims examinations. So we'll start with the questions. Sorry about this is not a syndicate bank PO 2004 question. So we'll start with the question. 8 people E F G H I J K L are sitting around a circular table, and some of them are facing center and some of them are facing outside the center. So we'll draw two circles and label the sitting positions. So my table or my circular table is ready, so I'll begin with this condition. The first condition says L is third to the left of K. So L is third to the left of K. K is pretty much fixed. We can fix K, but we don't know the position, so we'll read further. Both L and K are facing outside, so K is facing outside. K is facing outside and L is third to the left of K. So K's left will be in this direction, and third to the left means first, second and third. So L will be seated over here, and L is also facing outside because both L and K are facing outside. Similarly, we'll draw L over here and L is facing outside. Okay, second point, H is not an immediate neighbor of K or L. So H is not an immediate neighbor of K or L means H cannot be seated over here because it cannot be an immediate neighbor of K, and H can also not be seated in this position. So either H will sit here or H will sit here. So these are the only two possibilities for H to be seated. The third condition is J faces the opposite direction of H. We don't know the in which direction H is facing, so we'll read. We'll keep this in hold and read the remaining portion. J is sitting second to the left of H. J is sitting second to the left of H means there is 1% gap between H and J. So we will leave 1% from H and then plot J. So here in this diagram H is seated over here, so J should be seated in this position, but in this position K is seated, so we can plot J over here, and in this okay, so we can find the direction as well because J is sitting second to the left of H. So if H is facing towards the center, only then J can be seated here because it should be because J is seated second to the left of H. So left will be in this direction. We can place J here because we cannot place J here because L is already seated here, and H will be facing outside. Only if H faces outside, J can be seated over here because H left will be in this direction. J faces the opposite direction of H, so we will get the direction of J as well. So here in this diagram H is facing towards the center, so J will face away from the center. In this diagram H faces outside the center, so J will face towards the center. Next, both the immediate neighbor of G faces the opposite direction of J. We are not aware of G. We have not encountered G till now, so we'll keep this condition in hold and go to another condition. E is an immediate neighbor of K. Okay, E is an immediate neighbor of K, so we can, in this diagram we can put E over here, but in this diagram E can be placed either here or E can be placed either here, so we'll keep this in hold. Both the immediate neighbor of H faces the opposite direction of H, so this will be facing outside and this will also be facing outside. This will be facing outside. Both the immediate opposite, this will be facing inside and this will be also facing inside. We have completed this as well. So E faces towards the center. E can be seated, remember, you remember this, E is an immediate neighbor of K, so E can be seated either here or here. So E is facing inside the circle, so E cannot be seated in this position, so E will be seated in this position, and it is facing E is facing the center. Here also E is facing the center. He is an immediate neighbor of both K and I, so E is an immediate neighbor of both K and I. So in this diagram E has got the neighbor K, so he will get the neighbor I. Also in this diagram E will get the neighbor I, and I faces towards the center, so I is facing towards the center. Okay, we are only left with one condition now. Both the immediate neighbor of G faces the opposite direction of G. So in this diagram the two places are vacant. One is here and one is here. So if I place G here, if I place G here, its immediate neighbor should face the opposite direction of G. So now if G is facing outside, both the neighbors should face inside, but here H is facing inside but K is facing outside, so G cannot be seated here. Here if I place G is facing outside, so its neighbor should also face inside. Here H is facing inside but J is facing outside, so in this diagram I cannot place G anywhere, so this diagram is pretty much false for me. In this diagram I will check G. If I can place G over here and I can place G over here. So if I place G here, this is just just to check. One is G is facing inside the circle, inside towards the center, but J here is facing inside the circle, so G cannot be placed here. Let me try with this position. So I'll place G here. G is facing towards the center and both the immediate neighbors, that is H and L, is facing outside, so G can be fixed here. And the only person left is E and F is left. So this is the solution to our question. This was pretty good question, and I hope you'll practice this kind of question and practice at least 20 to 25 sets of this question, not the 20 to 25 question. I'm telling you to practice the 20 to 25 sets. Only then you'll be able to do this or solve this type of questions in your examination. Thank you.